2. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the stream. Going a little more casual here today, as you guys probably could tell. Not green screen, no mic, nothing like that. Just straight up preview here today for this really big game on Sunday between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for the Super Bowl at Raymond James Stadium. The first ever team to host a Super Bowl in its home stadium, and that is Tampa Bay and Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, in the Super Bowl this year. Now, what are the keys for a Chiefs victory here this week? Now, there is a major point I am going to get into later in this video, which I think could really influence a lot of these keys going a little bit differently, but I am going to get there a little bit later because I'm just going to want to get my keys out to you guys. Score prediction will be at the end, and then in the little middle of that, right after the keys, I'm going to say, what I think the major turning point I think could be for this game, and how it can really be messed up or completely go our direction. So, if you guys, before I get into any of this, please make sure if you guys love what you're seeing, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button down below, comment, share, do all that sort of jazz, and make sure if you have not done so already, check the link description below. There's a lot of great channels down there for you guys to see. Show them some support. They would greatly appreciate it. Now, without further ado, let's get into this game. So, what is the main point of this game? Now, this is a game that is obviously for all the marbles. We obviously have the two best teams with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Kansas City Chiefs, the winners of both the AFC and NFC going at it, as it is every year. Now, what is different about these two teams? Now, these teams are, I would say, starkly different in one way, shape, and another. Because what I think by this is, look at the injury reports of these two teams. Now, this is a very important point to bring up. Because looking at this right now, looking at the Chiefs injury report. So, right now, Willie Gay, who is our rookie linebacker, Eric Fisher, our standout left tackle, and Mitchell Schwartz, our standout right tackle, or non-blindside tackle, are officially out for this game. Now, the two I really mainly want to focus on here, and this could really flip the keys around whenever when I bring up my keys later on in this video. So looking at these two here, all right, Mitchell Schwartz on the right side, Eric Fisher on the left side, two standout tackles. This is why we have one of the best offensive lines in football. Now, think about this for a second. You have Patrick Mahomes, all right? He can do lots of different things. He can run the ball. He can throw it efficiently. He has a lot of weapons on his side. If you give him time, he can really do anything, in my opinion. Now, you have the offensive line. You have Eric Fisher on the left side. That's probably the right side. I'm just doing it based off of my left. Probably your right. But you have Eric Fisher on the left side. Mitchell Schwartz on the right side. The big one in here, which is on your screen, this is going to be my right, so I apologize if I get this mixed up a little bit. So, on the left side, Eric Fisher is the big name here. Why is it very big? Because if you're looking at this as a whole, blindside tackles can really determine how the sack battle can go. When you have a standout left tackle, which is generally in this league your blindside tackle, with a few exceptions like Tua, it could really create a lot of damage if you really can limit the number of sacks because of that standout left tackle, who is making your offensive line one of the best offensive lines in football. Now, with Eric Fisher out for this game, what else does this bring? When you're looking at, just because Eric Fisher is that standout left tackle, our backup has not played all season. So, when you're looking at this, you have a left tackle. I'm going to get to the right side in a minute. But the left side, which is Mahomes' blind side, is a left tackle that has not played all season. Why is this dangerous? Because I'm going to bring this up a couple points throughout the show. Is that if you guys remember, the big news is that Vita Vea, the standout Bucs nose tackle, which was basically supposedly out for the season. I say supposedly, and keep that in mind. He was said early on in the season when he was injured, he was out for the season. It's the Super Bowl. He is playing this week. Now, what is the big factor about this? Vita Vea, and I love Max Kellerman's point on this as well. I completely agree with him, so I'm just going to say it again. What he said is, Vita Vea was not supposed to be playing, but he is, and he can really tear up your pocket. So, why is this troubling? Because if you take a guy like Vita Vea, and then you also have Pierce Paul and all those other guys on that line coming together, you really can see that this could very much create some trouble. So, this is a big, big point I think can really influence how this game will go. If we win the sack battle, or we're at least in the sack battle at least, we have an equal amount of sacks, we'll be in this game. If we're getting demolished in the sack battle, I do not see us winning this game. And I hate to say that, but that's unfortunately what I think could happen here. So as I was saying earlier, with the two side tackles being out for this game, that's the big issue on the left side. Now on the right side, this is a veteran right tackle, all right? So this is Mitchell Schwartz. So Mitchell Schwartz, if you guys do not know, is basically, in my opinion, one of, if not the most important people on this line. Why? He's one of those veteran guys that can show up day in and day out and really help build protection. So, what is the big point about this? When I'm talking about the run game, and of course, like Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Darrell Williams, Thompson, whoever is running, it can really affect how much we run, how many yards we get on the ground, if we can become one-dimensional or not because we can't run the ball effectively, and so on and so forth. So, the big main point I want to bring up within this is that I think that the pressure battle and the protection battle will win us this game. Why? Because with the injuries on both our tackles, and you combine that with the ferocious front four of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, it will really determine this matchup right here. I don't care whatever matchup shines, it will all come down to this matchup, I'm saying. We win this game, it's because of this battle. The offensive line of the Chiefs versus the ferocious front four of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Mark my word on that. Now, with that said, let's get into the keys to this game. Now, key number one is going to obviously win the sack battle, like I just said. This is very, very important. The reason why I say this is because basically, when you get pressure on Tom Brady, it can very much affect the way he plays. If you think about how he's played in the playoffs, look at the road he has had to get here. The NFC East Washington football team, which was pretty much a gimme game in my opinion, even though it was close for a little bit of the time. The Saints, indoors in the divisional round, their divisional rival who they lost to twice this year. And then the big controversial matchup in the NFC Championship game against the MVP quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. Now, what is the big point about this? Is that he was not sacked a lot in these times. Now, you can make an argument and say that he's not sacked a lot total in his career because he's very good at getting the ball away, has good sensibility. But bottom line is, though, it can really get a quarterback frazzled, like Tom Brady, who is not mobile, cannot run, and will basically have to rely on him passing and his running game to basically carry his team to the way home. So, key number one of this game is going to be getting pressure on Tom Brady. So, key number two to this game is going to be protecting Patrick Mahomes. Why do I say this? The reason why I say this to Patrick Mahomes is because I think that if you really are looking at, I don't say it to Patrick Mahomes, excuse me if I said that. I mean, the reason why I say this as a key, is that I think that Mahomes will have a significant advantage in this game if his offensive line can just hold up. With the injuries being there, I could be expecting a lot of sacks from this front four on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But if we just hold it up just enough, we could have enough to even win this game by the narrowest of margins. Because our tackles are not healthy. We've had guys play all 5 positions in practice this week, and it can very well be very, very confusing for some of these players who have to really, I think, may have to alternate positions during the game just because we're so thin at depth at the linemen. So, key number 2, I think, is to absolutely protect Mahomes. It will give him a lot more time to hit the bombs to Hill. It will give him time to make those dump-offs to Kelsey. It will get the running game going. And it also will help make this offense more multi-dimensional because we don't know if there's at any point in the game that our run game can easily stop working. We have to rely on Mahomes to lead us all the way there. Mahomes may not be cooking, and then our run game may also have to be there. So it really will come down to protection at all different angles of this game. So, key number 2, protection, and once again, even more protection. Key number 3 to this game. And what's up, you guys? I see you guys already pulling up a chat. Golden Seahawks, Tony Pearson, and Skyaviation. What's up? So, last but not least, key number 3. Oh, man, I got an itch on my nose. Key number 3 is going to be limit the deep passes from Tom Brady. Because I think that Tom Brady, if you think about him, I think that there's not really a lot, especially in this game, that we're gonna expect him to play like he has played in all his Super Bowl runs. We're gonna expect that. Whether he is like that or not, we're gonna expect that. But I think that, especially if you look at that Packer game, at the end of the first half, you guys remember the final score of that game. If they don't give up that touchdown to if they don't give up that touchdown, wow, I just forgot the player there right there. If they just don't give up that deep pass to Packers, if the safety does not blow coverage, it's a very different ballgame. So what do I say by this? I will not care if he does short dump-offs all day long and does not get first downs off of it. Or even if he just gets 10 yards a pop. Like, I'd much rather, and I'm going to say this again, I would much rather have Tom Brady, who is considered the GOAT and the best of all time, not throw and give up and not let us give up those deep passes down the field for quick scores than to give 6, 7, 9-yard dump-offs for the game. Now, it's not the most It's not the most accustomed to our style. But the thing that I must say is that even though that Brady can do damage on basically all levels here, I think the most dangerous part of it is going to be if we give up if Tyrann Mathieu and Daniel Sorensen, they give up those deep passes down the field to Mike Evans, to Scotty Miller, to Johnson, to Brown, to Godwin, whoever it may be, it will really, really affect. Because essentially, if you give up quick scores, you can be behind 21-0 early, for example, and then you basically are going to be clawing back the rest of the game. I'm not saying you'll not lose the game, but it just makes you basically you have no room for error. So, key number 3 is limit the deep passes from Brady, so that way that we can just let them basically we can just take that off the threat of this team and just focus on getting the short passes down and not give up those deep passes where he can be extremely dangerous. My score prediction for this game is really something that I did say on the roundtable on Wednesday of Norbs, which I think is very much going to apply to this game. I think it's going to be not necessarily a huge shootout. Wow. But I do think it can be somewhat high scoring. So what I would say is this. I'm going to say in a nail biter in the 2020 game, Mahomes is going to lead us down the field at whatever point in the game. I'm not saying it's at the end of the game. I'm not saying it's a 2-minute drill. Just somewhat in the fourth quarter. He's going to lead us down the field and come in clutch and get a touchdown, and we win it 27-20. So I don't think it's going to be extremely high scoring like Steezy said on the roundtable, where he's second. I think his final score was 34-33, if I'm not mistaken. But I am expecting it to be somewhat of a defensive battle, but also a little bit of fireworks. So I'm going to go final score 27-20. The Chiefs win it. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed, please make sure to like, comment, hit that share button, subscribe, and make sure to come back and check out all my videos in the future. Until next time, have a great rest of your weekend. Go Chiefs, and have a great day on Sunday watching the Super Bowl.